The morning sun cast long shadows across New Busan Colony as Hyunwoo Kim walked through the settlement. He carried his daily report tablet and nodded to the colonists working in the fields. Life here was simple but good. The humans had built their homes from local stone and metal. Children played between the buildings while their parents tended crops that grew well in the alien soil. Hyunwoo had been the colonial administrator for 3 years now. He knew every family in New Busan. There were 800 people living here. They had farms, workshops, and even a small school. The colony was growing slowly but steadily. So-Ra Park met him at the communications building. She was the head of Colonial Defense Force. Her team of 20 guards kept the peace and watched for dangerous local animals. So-Ra was tough and smart. The colonists trusted her to keep them safe. "Any word from Earth Command today?" Hyunwoo asked. So-Ra shook her head. "Nothing unusual. The supply ship should arrive next month. Minho picked up some strange signals yesterday, but they were probably just solar interference." Minho Lee was their communications officer. He was young but very good with the equipment. His station was filled with screens and control panels. He spent most of his time listening to radio waves from space. That afternoon brought trouble none of them expected. Minho burst into Hyunwoo's office. His face was pale, and his hands shook as he held a data pad. "Sir, you need to see this. I picked up transmissions from unknown ships. They are not human. The signals are getting stronger. I think they are coming here." Hyunwoo studied the data. The patterns were unlike anything in their databases. The ships were large and moving fast toward their system. "How long until they arrive?" he asked. "Maybe 6 hours. Maybe less." So-Ra arrived within minutes of being called. She looked at the data and frowned. "We should contact Earth Command immediately," she said. "Already tried," Minho replied. "The signal is being blocked somehow. Something is jamming our long-range communications." The 3 humans looked at each other. New Busan was far from other human settlements. If trouble came, they would face it alone. So-Ra took charge quickly. "We need to prepare the defenses. Get everyone to the emergency shelters. This might be nothing, but we cannot take chances." The next few hours passed in tense preparation. The colonists moved their families to underground bunkers built for protection from storms. So-Ra's guards checked their weapons and set up defensive positions around the settlement. Their weapons were basic: pulse rifles, energy barriers, and a few automated turrets, enough to handle wild animals or small raids, not much against unknown alien technology. As darkness fell, the ships appeared in the sky. Hyunwoo stood on the command center roof with So-Ra and Minho. Through their scopes, they could see 5 massive vessels hovering above the colony. The ships were dark and covered with strange markings. They were 3 times larger than any human transport. "What do you think they want?" Minho whispered. Before anyone could answer, the ships opened their cargo bays. Things began falling from the sky. At first, they looked like large pods or containers. They hit the ground hard around the settlement. Steam rose from impact craters as the pods cracked open. What emerged made Hyunwoo's blood run cold. The creatures were massive. Each one was the size of a small building. They had thick, armored skin that gleamed like metal in the moonlight. 4 powerful legs carried bodies built for destruction. Their heads were long and filled with rows of sharp teeth, claws as long as swords extended from their feet. "What are those things?" So-Ra breathed. More pods kept falling. Soon there were dozens of the creatures surrounding New Busan. They moved with purpose and intelligence. These were not simple animals. They were weapons. The first attack came without warning. One of the creatures charged the eastern defense wall. The barrier that could stop vehicles crumpled like paper under its assault. So-Ra's guards opened fire with their pulse rifles. The energy beams struck the creature's armor and bounced off harmlessly. More creatures joined the attack from different directions. They worked together like a trained unit. Some creatures drew defensive fire while others flanked around the sides. Their coordination was terrifying. The automated turrets fired continuously, but their shots had no effect on the armored hides. One creature reached a turret and destroyed it with a single swipe of its claws. "Fall back to secondary positions," Sora shouted into her radio. "All units retreat to the bunkers." The colonists who had been fighting tried to reach safety. Some made it. Others were not fast enough. The creatures were incredibly quick despite their size. They moved like deadly shadows through the settlement. Buildings collapsed as the monsters smashed through them. The workshop where colonists made tools was reduced to rubble in seconds. The school where children learned was torn apart by massive claws. Hyunwoo watched his peaceful colony being destroyed. Everything they had built over 3 years was disappearing in minutes. "We have to evacuate everyone," he said. "Get them to the deep shelters." Sora nodded grimly. "Minho, try to reach any human ship in the system. Send a distress signal." As they ran toward the underground facilities, more creatures appeared. These ones were different. They were smaller but moved even faster. They seemed to be hunting for humans who were still hiding. The evacuation was chaos. Families ran through dark tunnels while explosions shook the ground above them. Parents carried crying children. Elderly colonists needed help walking. Everyone was terrified. By dawn, New Busan was gone. The creatures had destroyed every building. They patrolled the ruins as alien soldiers landed from the ships. The soldiers were tall and covered with scales like reptiles. They spoke in harsh, clicking sounds. Most of the colonists had reached the deep shelters, but they were trapped underground. The aliens controlled the surface now. Minho had managed to send one message before the communication equipment was destroyed. It was encrypted and sent on an emergency frequency toward human space. The message was short but clear. Code Crimson. Unleash Protocol. 7. Hyunwoo did not know what those words meant, but he hoped someone would understand. Someone who could help them fight back against these monsters. In the darkness of the shelter, surrounded by frightened families, he wondered if humanity was ready for this kind of war. Admiral Jae-sung Choi stood in the command center of Earth Defense Station Alpha. The massive space station orbited Earth and served as headquarters for human military operations. Through the large windows he could see Earth below, blue and peaceful. But peace was about to end. The emergency signal from New Busan had arrived 3 hours ago. The encrypted message was short but terrifying. Minho's final transmission told them everything they needed to know. Humanity was under attack by unknown aliens with powerful bioweapons. "Show me the combat footage again," Jae-sung said to his aide. The holographic display showed the attack on New Busan. The admiral watched the creatures tear through human defenses like they were made of paper. Pulse rifles that could stop armored vehicles had no effect on these monsters. Barriers that could withstand explosions crumbled under their claws. Jae-sung had been a military officer for 30 years. He had fought in 3 wars and commanded fleets across human space. But he had never seen anything like these creatures. "Analysis report, sir," his aide said, handing him a data tablet. The report was grim. The alien bioweapons showed signs of advanced genetic engineering. They were designed specifically for warfare. Their armor could resist all known human weapons. Their size gave them overwhelming physical advantage. Their coordination suggested high intelligence or advanced training. "Casualties?" Jae-sung asked. "New Busan had 800 colonists. We estimate 600 made it to the deep shelters. The rest are missing or confirmed dead. The colony itself is completely destroyed. 600 people trapped underground. 200 dead or captured. An entire human settlement wiped out in one night. Have we contacted other colonies in that sector?" "We tried, sir. But communications are being jammed. We think the aliens have moved to attack other settlements." Jae-sung closed his eyes. Other colonies meant thousands more families in danger. Men, women, and children who had left Earth to build new lives among the stars. They were depending on him to protect them. "Sir, Director Han is here to see you." Yun-Ji-Han entered the command center carrying a sealed briefcase. She was the director of the Bio-Enhancement Division, a branch of human military research that most people knew nothing about. Yun-Ji was brilliant, but her work made many people uncomfortable. "Admiral, we need to talk privately," she said. They went to Jae-sung's office. Yun-Ji placed the briefcase on his desk and opened it with her palm print. Inside were classified files marked with the highest security levels. "What am I looking at?" Jae-sung asked. "Project Cerberus. Our answer to what just happened at New Busan." Yun-Ji activated a holographic display that showed medical charts and genetic diagrams. The information was complex, but Jae-sung understood enough to be shocked. "You experimented on humans?" "Volunteers only. Special Forces soldiers who knew the risks. We combined human DNA with genetic material from Earth's apex predators. The results were remarkable, but the project was shut down 15 years ago." The display showed test footage of enhanced soldiers in action. They moved with inhuman speed and strength. One soldier lifted a vehicle over his head. Another ran faster than any human should be able to move. A third climbed a sheer wall using claws that extended from his fingertips. "The ethics committee called them abominations," Yun-Ji continued. "They said we had crossed a line that should never be crossed. The soldiers were put into cryogenic sleep and the project was classified." Jae-sung studied the files. The enhanced soldiers had been created using DNA from wolves, tigers, bears, and other predators. The genetic modifications were permanent and irreversible. "How many subjects?" 47 volunteers successfully completed the process. They have been in cryosleep for 15 years waiting. "Waiting for what?" "For someone to be desperate enough to wake them up." The Admiral looked at the combat footage from New Busan again. "Human weapons useless. Human defenses destroyed. Human colonists helpless against alien bioweapons. What are you asking me to do? Give the order to wake them up. Let Project Cerberus defend humanity." Before Jae-sung could respond, his aide burst into the office. "Sir, urgent message from the outer colonies. 3 more settlements have been attacked. The aliens are using the same creatures. Our forces cannot stop them. 3 more colonies. Thousands more people in danger. The alien invasion was spreading." "There is something else you should know," Yun-Ji said quietly. "The Cerberus soldiers were not just enhanced physically. The genetic modifications affected their minds as well. They think like predators now. They see the world differently than normal humans." "Are they still human?" "That depends on your definition. They are loyal to humanity, but they are not human in the traditional sense anymore." The door opened and Commander Dong-Hyun-Yu entered. He was a veteran of the border wars and had scars on his face from old battles. He was also one of the few people who knew about Project Cerberus. "Admiral, I heard about the attacks. Are you considering waking the sleepers?" The thought had occurred to me. "Good. Those monsters out there are hunting our people. Maybe it is time they learned what it feels like to be hunted." Dong-Hyun had been part of the original Cerberus project as a military advisor. He understood what the enhanced soldiers were capable of. "If we do this, there is no going back," Jae-sung said. "Once we release them, the galaxy will know that humans create monsters too." "The galaxy already thinks we are weak," Dong-Hyun replied. "Let them learn the truth. We survived on Earth not because we were peaceful. We survived because we were more dangerous than anything else on our planet." Yun-Ji nodded. "The soldiers volunteered for this. They knew they might be humanity's last resort. That day has come." Jae-sung looked at Earth through his office window. Billions of humans lived on that world. Millions more lived in colonies across space. All of them were counting on him to keep them safe. The alien bioweapons were destroying human settlements. Normal weapons could not stop them. Traditional tactics were failing, but humanity had weapons of their own. Monsters created from the DNA of Earth's most dangerous predators. Soldiers who had been sleeping for 15 years, waiting for this moment. "Send the activation codes to Titan Station," Jae-sung ordered. "Wake them up, all of them." Yoonji smiled grimly. "The aliens wanted to show us their monsters. Now they will meet ours." Deep inside Titan Station, warning lights flashed red throughout the classified levels. The massive space facility orbited Saturn and housed humanity's most secret military projects. In the lowest levels, sealed chambers that had been dark for 15 years began to glow with soft blue light. Dr. Myung-soo Park monitored the revival process from the control room. He had been part of the original Cerberus project and was one of the few people qualified to wake the enhanced soldiers. His hands moved across control panels as life support systems activated throughout the cryo facility. "Vital signs are stabilizing. On all subjects," he reported to the observation deck above. The cryo chambers lined both walls of the long corridor. Each one contained a volunteer who had undergone genetic enhancement 15 years ago. The process had changed them permanently, mixing human DNA with the genetic codes of Earth's apex predators. The first chamber opened with a hiss of escaping gas. Taemin Seo sat up slowly, his enhanced senses immediately cataloging every sound and smell in the facility. His modifications came from wolf DNA, and the changes were visible even at rest. His canine teeth were longer and sharper than normal human teeth. His eyes reflected light like an animal's eyes. His hearing could detect sounds that normal humans could not perceive. "Status report," Taemin said, his voice carrying the authority of a pack leader. Dr. Park spoke through the intercom. "You have been in cryo-sleep for 15 years. Humanity is under attack by alien forces using bioweapons. You and your team are being activated for combat operations." Taemin nodded and stood. His movements were fluid and precise. The wolf enhancements had given him perfect balance and coordination. He could smell the other soldiers waking up around him, identifying each one by their unique scent. The second chamber opened and Hyo-jin Kim emerged. Her tiger modifications were more dramatic than Taemin's wolf changes. Her reflexes were incredibly fast, and her night vision could see clearly. In complete darkness, retractable claws extended from her fingertips when she flexed her hands. Her muscle density was 3 times that of a normal human. "How long?" she asked. 15 years, Taemin replied. Hyo-jin tested her claws against the metal wall of her chamber. They left deep scratches in the steel. "Good. I was getting tired of sleeping." The third chamber released Sun Wook Jang. His bear enhancements had made him massive even by enhanced soldier standards. He stood nearly 7 feet tall and weighed over 400 pounds, but it was all muscle and reinforced bone. His strength was legendary even among the Cerberus operatives. "The pack is together again," Sun Wook said in his deep voice. More chambers opened throughout the facility. Each soldier had been enhanced with DNA from different predators. Some had shark modifications that let them hold their breath for an hour and gave them incredible swimming speed. Others carried eagle DNA that enhanced their vision and spatial awareness. But the wolf, tiger, and bear soldiers were the pack leaders. They had worked together for years before being put into cryo-sleep. Their bond was deeper than friendship. The genetic modifications had given them pack instincts that transcended normal human relationships. Dr. Park met them in the equipment room. Their gear had been waiting for 15 years, maintained and updated with new technology. The armor was designed specifically for enhanced soldiers, stronger and more flexible than standard military equipment. The alien bioweapons are called Ravagers, Dr. Park explained as they suited up. They are the size of buildings, and their armor can resist all known human weapons. They have destroyed 3 human colonies and trapped thousands of civilians. Taemin secured his helmet and activated the communication systems. "Show us the combat footage." The holographic display showed the attack on New Busan. The 3 soldiers watched in silence as the Ravagers tore through human defenses. But their reactions were different from normal humans. They were not afraid or shocked. They were analyzing the alien creatures like predators, studying new prey. Coordinated pack hunters, Taman observed. But their tactics are basic. They rely on size and armor instead of intelligence. Their armor has gaps at the joints, Hyojin noted. Tiger claws could penetrate there. Grappling points on the legs and neck, Sunwook added. Bear strength could break bones if applied correctly. Dr. Park was amazed at their calm analysis. Normal humans looked at the Ravagers and saw unstoppable monsters. The enhanced soldiers looked at them and saw weaknesses to exploit. There is something else you should know, Dr. Park said. The aliens call themselves the Vailari Empire. They have conquered 12 star systems using these bioweapons. No species has ever successfully resisted them. Taiman's wolf instincts flared. An enemy that had never been defeated was about to learn what defeat felt like. Have they faced Earth predators before? He asked. No. They have no experience with your kind of enhancements. Good. That will be their first mistake. The other Cerberus soldiers finished their preparations and gathered in the main bay. 47 enhanced warriors ready for combat. Each one carried the genetic legacy of creatures that had survived millions of years of evolution on the most dangerous planet in known space. Commander Dong Hyun arrived to brief them on their mission. He looked at the assembled soldiers with pride and sadness. He had trained many of them before they volunteered for enhancement. The colony of New Seoul has been attacked, he said. 800 civilians are trapped in underground shelters, while Ravagers control the surface. Your mission is to eliminate the alien bioweapons and secure the colony for evacuation. Rules of engagement, Taman asked. No rules. These aliens showed no mercy to our colonists. You are authorized to use any means necessary to complete the mission. The soldiers exchanged glances. For 15 years they had been sleeping, while politicians debated the ethics of their existence. Now humanity needed them and all restrictions were lifted. Transport leaves in 1 hour, Commander Dong Hyun continued. Intelligence suggests there are at least 20 Ravagers on the surface plus supporting alien forces. Hyojin smiled, showing her enhanced canine teeth. 20 targets for 47 hunters. They are outnumbered. Pack protects pack, Taman said, and the other soldiers repeated the phrase. It had been their motto before cryosleep, and it remained their guiding principle. As they boarded the transport ship, Dr. Park watched them go. He had helped create these warriors, but he was not sure what they had become. They were still human, in their loyalty and dedication. But they thought like predators now. They saw the galaxy through the eyes of creatures that had never known defeat. The Vailari Empire was about to discover why Earth was the only planet where humans had survived. The colony of New Seoul was burning when the Cerberus team arrived. From orbit, the settlement looked like a scar on the planet's surface. Buildings had been reduced to rubble, and smoke rose from dozens of fires. The Vailari ships hung in the sky like dark clouds, their bioweapon cargo bays open and empty. Taman studied the tactical display as their stealth transport approached the landing zone. His wolf-enhanced senses could smell the fear and desperation even through the ship's air filters. 800 human civilians were trapped in underground shelters while alien monsters patrolled above them. Thermal scans show 23 Ravagers. On the surface, the pilot reported, plus approximately 40 Vailari ground troops setting up some kind of processing facility. Processing for what? Hyojin asked, her tiger instincts already knowing the answer. Unknown. But they are building holding pens. The three pack leaders exchanged glances. The aliens were not just conquering human territory. They were harvesting. Humans like livestock. Change of mission priority, Taman announced to the team. Civilian protection is secondary. Primary objective is to send a message. These aliens need to learn that humans are not prey. The transport landed silently in the forest outside New Seoul. 47 enhanced soldiers disembarked and moved through the trees with inhuman grace. Their various animal modifications gave them perfect camouflage and stealth capabilities. Kyunghwa Lim huddled in the ruins of her family's shop, one of the few colonists who had not made it to the underground shelters. She had been hiding for 2 days, watching the Ravagers patrol the destroyed settlement. The creatures were even more terrifying up close than in the evacuation broadcasts. She pressed herself deeper into the shadows as footsteps approached. But these footsteps were different, lighter, more careful, human. 3 figures emerged from the darkness, and Kyunghwa's breath caught. They moved like no humans she had ever seen. Their eyes reflected the moonlight like wild animals. Their movements were fluid and predatory. The lead figure knelt beside her hiding spot. His enhanced hearing had detected her heartbeat from 50 meters away. "Civilian located," Taemin whispered into his comm unit. "We have a witness." Kyunghwa stared at him in shock. His teeth were longer and sharper than normal human teeth. His fingernails had hardened into claws, but his voice was gentle and reassuring. "We are here to help. Stay hidden and watch. You will want to remember what happens next." The first encounter occurred in the Colonies' central plaza. 6 Ravagers were feeding on the remains of destroyed vehicles, their massive jaws crushing metal like paper. They were magnificent specimens of bioengineering, perfectly designed for destruction and intimidation. They had never faced anything like Earth's apex predators. Taemin's pack attacked with coordinated precision. The wolf-enhanced soldier used pack tactics that the Ravagers could not comprehend. He howled a signal that was both human battle cry and wolf communication. His pack responded instantly. Hyo-jin moved with tiger reflexes that defied physics. She dodged a Ravager's charging attack and raked her claws across its flank, finding the gaps in its armor that she had identified from the combat footage. Her enhanced strength drove the claws deep into alien flesh. The Ravager roared in pain and confusion. Nothing had ever hurt it before. Its bioengineered armor was supposed to be impenetrable. Sunwook demonstrated why bears were among Earth's most feared predators. He grappled with a Ravager twice his size, using leverage and bone-crushing strength to pin the creature. His enhanced skeletal structure could withstand impacts that would shatter normal human bones. The other Ravagers tried to assist their packmate, but found themselves facing soldiers with shark modifications who moved like living torpedoes, eagle-enhanced, warriors who attacked from impossible angles, and predators whose genetic heritage went back millions of years. For the first time in their existence, the Ravagers experienced fear. The battle lasted only minutes, but its psychological impact was devastating. 3 Ravagers lay dead or dying while the others retreated toward their ships. The invincible bioweapons that had conquered 12 star systems had been defeated by creatures they did not understand. Velari Commander Veltar watched the battle from his command ship and felt something he had never experienced before. His perfect weapons, the pride of the Empire, had been outfought by primitive humans. "What are those things?" his tactical officer asked. "Enhanced humans," Veltar replied, studying the sensor readings. "But enhanced with what?" "Our bioscans show genetic markers from multiple Earth species." "Earth species, Commander?" "Predators. They have taken the DNA of their planet's hunters and combined it with their own." Veltar's scaled hands clenched. No wonder they survived on that death world. They became more dangerous than anything else on it. On the surface, more Cerberus soldiers engaged Ravagers throughout the settlement. Each encounter followed the same pattern. The alien bioweapons relied on size, armor, and intimidation. The enhanced humans used speed, intelligence, and the accumulated savagery of 4 billion years of evolution. The Ravagers had been bred in laboratories and fed controlled diets. They had never faced real competition. The Cerberus soldiers carried the genetic legacy of creatures that had survived by being more ruthless than everything else in their environment. Kyunghwa watched from her hiding place as the tide of battle turned completely. The monsters that had destroyed her colony were being systematically hunted down by other monsters, but these monsters fought for humanity. She saw Tai Min coordinate his pack with howls and gestures that seemed more animal than human. She watched Hyo Jin move with liquid grace as she stalked ravagers through the ruins. Sun Wook's raw strength was terrifying, even to witness from a distance. But what impressed her most was their intelligence. They did not just fight the ravagers. They studied them, learned their weaknesses, and adapted their tactics accordingly. They were predators in the truest sense. By dawn, the surviving ravagers had retreated to their ships. 12 of the mighty bioweapons lay dead in the ruins of New Seoul. The Violari ground troops had abandoned their processing facility and fled. The Cerberus soldiers regrouped in the plaza. They had taken no casualties and suffered only minor injuries. Their enhanced healing abilities were already repairing the damage. Mission status, Tai Min reported to command. Primary objective achieved. Secondary objective in progress. The aliens know they are not hunting prey anymore. They are being hunted. Commander Veltar made the decision to withdraw from New Seoul. His reports to the High Command would be difficult to explain. The humans had fielded bioweapons superior to anything in the Violari arsenal. As the alien ships departed, Kyunghwa emerged from hiding. The enhanced soldiers were helping evacuate the civilians from the underground shelters. Despite their predatory appearance, they were gentle with the frightened colonists. "What are you?" she asked Tai Min. The wolf-enhanced soldier considered the question. "We are what humanity becomes when it needs to survive. We are the answer to your question about what happens when prey decides to become predators." The galaxy was about to learn that Earth had produced more than just spacefaring humans. It had produced monsters that chose to protect instead of consume, and those monsters were very, very good at hunting. News of the defeat at New Seoul spread through the Violari fleet like a plague. Commander Veltar sat in his command chamber reviewing the battle reports for the 100th time. 12 ravagers dead. 0 human casualties. The mathematics of warfare had been turned upside down. "High Command is requesting detailed analysis," his communications officer reported. Veltar's scaled fingers drummed against his chair. How could he explain that the Empire's most perfect weapons had been outfought by creatures that should not exist? The humans had somehow created bioweapons that combined multiple species into single organisms. "Send them everything. Combat footage, bioscans, tactical analysis. Let them see for themselves." Meanwhile, more Cerberus units were being awakened across human space. The success at New Seoul had convinced Admiral Jae-sung to activate every enhanced soldier in the program. 47 warriors had become 200 as additional sleepers were revived from facilities on Mars, Europa, and distant research stations. In-Soo Woo emerged from cryosleep at the Ceres facility with enhanced aggression that made even other Cerberus soldiers nervous. His modifications came from honey badger DNA, creating a soldier who literally could not experience fear. He was smaller than the bear or tiger-enhanced warriors, but his complete lack of self-preservation instincts made him perfect for infiltration missions. "What is our target?" he asked Dr. Song-Yi Kim, who supervised his revival. "Violari breeding ships. They create new ravagers in orbital biofactories. Intelligence suggests they have 3 such vessels in the Kepler system." In-Soo smiled, with predatory satisfaction. "Inside work, my specialty." The Honey Badger enhanced soldiers specialized in ship infiltration and sabotage. Their modifications included enhanced durability, toxin resistance, and the ability to squeeze through impossibly tight spaces. Most importantly, they possessed an enhanced soldier's greatest weapon, the complete certainty that they were more dangerous than anything they might encounter. Yeon-hee Baek worked in the Strategic Planning Center on Luna Base, analyzing the changing nature of the war. She was not enhanced herself, but had become the foremost expert on Cerberus tactical applications. Her job was to figure out how to use humanity's new weapons most effectively. The Vailari rely on psychological warfare, she explained to the assembled commanders. Their Ravagers are designed to terrify enemies into surrender. But our enhanced soldiers do not experience fear the same way normal humans do. Admiral Jae-sung studied her tactical projections. What do you recommend? We stop playing defense and start hunting. The Cerberus operatives do not just want to protect human colonies. They want to eliminate the threat at its source. The war entered a new phase as human forces took the offensive. Cerberus teams used their enhanced senses to track Ravagers across star systems. What had been an alien invasion became a systematic extermination campaign. Taemin's pack pursued, a group of Ravagers to the asteroid belt where the creatures had established a breeding nest. The wolf-enhanced soldier's tracking abilities allowed him to follow scent trails through vacuum by analyzing microscopic particles on ship hulls. Nest located, he reported. 12 adult Ravagers plus approximately 30 juvenile specimens. Rules of engagement, Admiral Jae-sung asked over the comm. No survivors. We are sending a message. The attack on the breeding nest was swift and merciless. The Ravagers had never faced enemies who hunted them back to their most secure locations. Their psychological advantage crumbled as they became the prey in their own hunting grounds. Hyojin used her Tiger modifications to navigate the asteroid facility's tight corridors, her night vision allowing her to see clearly in the dim lighting. She moved like liquid death through the complex, eliminating sentries and sabotaging life support systems. Sun Wook's bear strength proved devastating in the confined spaces. Ravagers that relied on size and reach found themselves at a disadvantage, against an opponent who could match their strength while being more maneuverable. But it was the psychological impact that mattered most. The Vailari monitoring stations recorded everything as their perfect bioweapons were systematically destroyed in their own breeding facility. Insu's team achieved an even more significant victory by infiltrating a Vailari command ship. Honey Badger-enhanced soldiers used maintenance shafts and ventilation systems to reach the ship's core systems. They planted explosives that would detonate when the ship tried to enter hyperspace. The destruction of the command vessel sent shock waves through the Vailari fleet. Their ships were supposed to be impregnable. The idea that humans could board and destroy them was unthinkable. Commander Veltar received increasingly desperate reports from across the front lines. Human bioweapons were appearing everywhere, hunting Ravagers with systematic efficiency. More disturbing, they were learning and adapting faster than military intelligence could track. They are not just soldiers, his tactical analyst reported. They are apex predators with human intelligence and military training. Each engagement makes them more effective. How many do they have? Unknown. Our estimates range from hundreds to thousands. They appear to have multiple genetic variations adapted for different combat roles. Veltar studied the tactical display showing human forces advancing on all fronts. Red markers indicated destroyed Ravager units. Blue markers showed Vailari, facilities under attack or abandoned. What do our xenobiologists say about their enhancements? Impossible by our standards. They have successfully combined genetic material from multiple species without rejection or instability. The base human genome appears to be remarkably adaptable. That was the detail that truly frightened Veltar. The Vailari had spent centuries perfecting their bioweapons through careful genetic engineering. The humans had achieved superior results. By combining their own DNA with creatures from their homeworld, it suggested that Earth's biosphere was more dangerous than anyone had realized. The humans had not just survived on that planet. They had become its ultimate expression of evolutionary success. Send a message to High Command, Veltar ordered. Recommend immediate withdrawal from human space and establishment of a neutral zone. Sir, the High Regent will not approve retreat. Then send him the combat footage. All of it. Let him see what we are facing." The message traveled through hyperspace toward the Violari capital, carrying news that would change everything. The empire that had conquered 12 star systems had encountered a species that turned their greatest strength against them. On distant Earth, Admiral J. Sung received reports of victories across human space. The enhanced soldiers were exceeding all expectations. But he also received disturbing intelligence about Violari fleet movements. "They are massing for a major offensive," his intelligence chief reported. 3 battle fleets plus their reserve bioweapon stockpiles. They are bringing everything they have. How long until they arrive? 2 weeks. Maybe less. Admiral J. Sung looked at the tactical display showing the approaching alien armada. The Violari were not retreating. They were escalating to total war. "Send word to all Cerberus units. Phase 2 begins now. We are not just defending anymore. We are going to end this threat permanently." The hunters were about to become an army, and the galaxy was about to learn why Earth was the only planet where humans had survived to reach the stars. High Regent Sekmoth stood before the holographic display in the Violari Imperial Palace, watching humanity's enhanced soldiers tear through another Ravager breeding facility. The footage was difficult to comprehend. His empire's greatest weapons were being systematically destroyed by creatures that should not exist. "Analysis confirms our worst fears," his chief scientist reported. "The humans have achieved stable multi-species genetic integration. Their bioweapons are superior to ours in every measurable category." Sekmoth's amber eyes studied the tactical data. In 6 months of warfare, the Violari had lost over 300 Ravagers and 40 support vessels. Human casualties remained minimal. The mathematics were clear. His empire was losing a war it should have won easily. How many enhanced soldiers do they possess? Conservative estimates suggest at least 500 active units, with more being awakened regularly. Each unit represents genetic combinations we cannot replicate or counter. The regents scaled, hands clenched into fists. The Violari Empire had built its reputation on biological superiority. They created the perfect weapons while other species relied on crude technology. But the humans had proven that evolution could achieve what engineering could not. What are their demands for surrender? "They have made no demands, Your Eminence. They appear to be escalating toward total elimination of our forces." A communication alert interrupted the briefing. The message came from Admiral Veltar's flagship, requesting immediate audience with High Command. "Put him through." Commander Veltar appeared as a hologram, his usually composed demeanor showing obvious strain. Behind him, damage control teams worked to repair his ship from the latest human attack. "Your Eminence, I recommend immediate withdrawal from human space and opening diplomatic channels." "Explain." "We are not fighting soldiers, Your Eminence. We are fighting apex predators with human intelligence. Every engagement teaches them more about our tactics and weaknesses. They are learning faster than we can adapt." Sekmoth considered this. The Violari had conquered 12 star systems by following the same pattern: deploy Ravagers, crush resistance, accept surrender. But the humans had broken that pattern completely. "What makes you think they will negotiate?" "Because they have not pursued our retreating forces beyond their territorial boundaries. They are defending their space, not conquering ours. There may be room for compromise." 3 days later, a single human vessel approached the Violari capital ship under a flag of truce. The ship was small, but its escort was unmistakable. 12 fighters piloted by enhanced soldiers whose biosignatures registered as apex predators. Wu Jin, humanity's ambassador, walked through the corridors of the alien vessel with calm confidence. He was accompanied by 3 Cerberus operatives who served as both honor guard and demonstration of human capabilities. The negotiation chamber was designed to intimidate visitors with its massive scale and imposing architecture. But Wu Jin had spent years dealing with alien psychology. He understood that fear was now on the other side of the table. High Regent Sekmoth, he said with formal courtesy. I am Ambassador Wu Jin-O, representing the Human Colonial Authority. The massive alien ruler studied the human delegation with particular attention to the enhanced soldiers. Their genetic modifications were visible even at rest. Eyes that reflected light like wild animals, enhanced muscle definition, and predatory alertness that never relaxed. You have come to discuss terms of surrender, Sekmoth said. We have come to discuss terms of coexistence, Wu Jin replied. Surrender was your option 6 months ago. Now we are offering you something more valuable. Survival. Taemin stepped forward, his wolf-enhanced senses reading the fear scent from every Violari in the chamber. Your Ravagers were impressive weapons against prey species, but you made a critical error in your intelligence assessment. Which was? You assumed humans were prey because we appeared weak and our colonies were lightly defended. You did not research how we survived on Earth. Hyo Jin's tiger modifications allowed her to move with liquid grace as she approached the tactical display. Earth is what xenobiologists call a death world. Every ecosystem is filled with competing apex predators. Survival requires being more dangerous than everything else. Your Ravagers were bred in laboratories, Sunwook added, his bear enhancements, making his voice rumble with authority. Fed controlled diets, given easy victories against inferior opponents. They never faced real competition. Ambassador Wu Jin activated a holographic display showing Earth's biosphere. Our enhancements come from creatures that survived 4 billion years of evolution. Lions, tigers, wolves, bears, sharks, eagles. Each one represents millions of years of genetic refinement through competitive selection. The display shifted to show Cerberus combat footage. Enhanced soldiers moving with inhuman grace and coordination, adapting to new threats in real time, learning from every encounter. We did not create these soldiers to conquer your empire, Wu Jin continued. We created them because Earth taught us that survival requires being prepared for anything. Your attack simply proved we were right. High Regent Sekmoth studied the combat analysis one final time. The numbers were undeniable. Human bioweapons had achieved victory ratios that defied military doctrine. What are your terms? Immediate withdrawal from all human territory. Establishment of a 50 light-year neutral zone. Non-aggression pact with verification protocols. In exchange, we agree not to pursue your forces beyond the neutral zone. And if we refuse? Taemin's predatory smile showed enhanced canine teeth. Then you will learn why humans were the only species to survive on the most dangerous planet in known space. We will hunt your Ravagers to extinction and track your fleets back to their home bases. The chamber fell silent. The threat was delivered without emotion or bluster. It was simply a statement of fact from creatures that had never learned to fear anything. You would exterminate our bioweapons entirely? We are apex predators, Your Eminence, Hyojin replied. When we eliminate competition in our territory, we eliminate it completely. It is our nature. Ambassador Wu Jin placed a data pad on the AI negotiation table. The choice is yours, coexistence or extinction. But understand that we learned long ago there is no middle ground between predator and prey. High Regent Sekmoth looked at his military advisors, seeing his own thoughts reflected in their expressions. The humans had proven their capabilities, beyond any doubt. More importantly, they had demonstrated that they could continue escalating indefinitely. I accept your terms. The treaty was signed within hours. The Valari fleet began immediate withdrawal from human space while establishing the agreed neutral zone. For the first time in their imperial history, they had encountered a species that could not be conquered. As the human delegation departed, Sekmoth made a final entry in the imperial records. Species classification, human. Threat level, apex. Origin, Death World Class 12. Recommendation, avoid at all costs. Note, they evolved alongside monsters and learned to become something worse. Back on Earth, Admiral Jae Sung watched the alien fleet's retreat beyond sensor range. The war was over, but the lesson would endure. Humanity had revealed its true nature to the galaxy. The Cerberus soldiers returned to their colonies, not as weapons of conquest, but as guardians of human space. They had proven that sometimes the best defense was being more dangerous than any possible threat. And across the galaxy, other species would soon learn the most important lesson about humanity. They had survived on Earth not by avoiding the monsters, but by becoming the apex predators themselves. The age of human expansion was about to begin.